Hey, Christoper Lier, thank you so much for being on my show. You're the first person on my podcast and my YouTube channel. I gotta introduce Christoper Lier. He's actually one of my friends that I met at my last co-working space in Moorgate in London. He was one of the very few people like me that works through the weekends as well. And I used to see him filming, and I remember he was like, "Hey, we ended up talk." Actually, he was also in tech. I was in tech, and he invited me to his podcast. So when I started my own, it only felt right to invite Christoper. And Christoper has a tech company which is called Lead Gen App. We use it as well, not just because he sits in the office, but it's a great tool to acquire leads and put them all in one funnel. I'll let him explain the app pretty soon. But Chris, maybe why don't you tell us a little about yourself and Lead Gen App?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that great introduction and looking forward to this chat. As you said, we met a while ago in London in a co-working space. And what I do is basically I'm a tech founder of a startup called Lead Gen App. We focus on helping other brands to capture more leads from their website using better online forms. That's basically what our tool does. It allows you to build any kind of custom forms and focus on really the conversion side of things, focus on getting more leads through a lot of testing capabilities, many different features that help to support that. I'm a founder for about 4 years now, I think. Yeah, 4 years. So straight after university, I went into starting my own business. Initially, I did it as an agency model, helping other companies with their online marketing, because I already had built up some knowledge and have already worked on building, let's say, affiliate websites, things like that, while I was still in university. And then I used that knowledge to then say, okay, I'm going to do it as an agency model first. That's an easy way to get started. And then I met my co-founder in a co-working space, which then really allowed us to open a lot of new doors. We started Lead Gen App together, started another venture together, and a lot of things that we can cover, I think, today on here as well. But yeah, that's a bit about my background. I come from Germany originally, and very passionate entrepreneur and tech founder, and looking forward to today.
That's great. That's great. I tell you, it really is interesting. I mean, you are definitely someone like me, and there are few people in the office who have that same characteristic. But we love building. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I remember now when I was in university. Everyone, including professors, considering I took like an entrepreneurship degree, was always about having a good job, a 9 to 5, and a good pension. As me and you work towards building a platform, but we take a lot of risks right now. I mean, we both take those risks, but it's totally worth it. I mean, I love the chase. I mean, right now it breaks my heart that we're not in the same office anymore. And
Yes, absolutely.
probably as viewers can see, I'm in the spare room right now, turning this into the podcast. But yeah, I'll be back in London next year. Actually, good news. I 1 day a week in your office because I'll be working with some of the other guys
All
upstairs.
right.
And so yeah, I'll be 1 day a week in your office.
So
But
when you say next year, you mean this year, 2021, don't you?
yeah, see, I've been here so long, I feel like it's next year. Good point. Yeah, hey, what day is it today? Yeah, no. Yeah, wow, that's really bad. You're right. It is 2021. I mean, last year was crazy. I mean, let's be real here. Last year was crazy. I mean, even now, like what's going on with the market in the US and, like GameStop. I mean, I have to admit, like me and you are both really lucky being in the tech scene, because we're not employees, like so we have to keep building and upselling our platform and generating revenue, and even when there was COVID, there was no one in the office. There was no one in the office. It was just me, you, Quizzic, another company that have that AI platform. They're all guys. Everyone there is like self-employed at some point. It was really incredible just to see like how we keep those wheels turning. I find that very interesting. I mean, what do you see now, like in the tech landscape, especially now now that I realize we're in 2021, I mean, where do you see the landscape going, especially for our community?
Okay. Uh, well, I think the market is still very strong in the whole software SaaS space. Although obviously the whole economy, we are in a very difficult time recession wise. It's very difficult, let's say, mentally for founders and people. So that's for sure. I mean, that's tricky. That's a tricky part. But looking, let's say, at what demand is out there, well, I do see that, we are in a relatively fortunate position, being in the SaaS world or in the marketplace world, online software. So in that's the good news. Whenever there is challenging times, there's also opportunity. That's really how I saw the last year. When everyone was kind of going, let's say, how can I say, like, yeah, going into contraction mode, really protecting themselves. I'm talking business wise now. Let's say spending less money, uh, probably getting rid of employees, unfortunately, right? All those things happen. That's obviously on everyone's mind, but you can also turn it around and you can say, what's stopping me right now to double down on growth, to take extra bold steps? Because yeah, for us, the demand hasn't gone down. That's my key point. And what's next for the whole community? Well, I would hope to at least see the whole ecosystem moving in the right direction again. Let's say being more around with people. Hopefully, we're going to have some events sometime again, whenever that's going to be. But at least I would like to see that going on the right track. And yeah, you're right. Like, it was always great times to, let's say, work together, exchange ideas. We helped each other a lot, like while we were in the office together. So I do think that should. Yeah, I do hope that's going to be coming soon again as well, coming back soon again as well.
Yeah, I agree about the being in like a co-working space with many other companies. I mean, because of you, I remember I was working and you were like, hey, let's go play table tennis. And we went to go play table tennis and I met the guys and I got a contract out of it. And now we deal. If you hadn't asked me,
Yeah,
like I owe you a big keg of beer right now. As soon as I see you,
actually
I
right.
promise
Didn't
I'll
ask
buy
for
you beer.
anything.
I will make sure you're well compensated, But I mean, like, it, you know, yeah, you're right. Like, I love being in the co-working spaces, but you know what makes me? I wonder. Like, obviously, the vaccine. Hopefully, we're inoculated by like like March, April, May, right? By next year, when the summer hits, and I'm trying to think again, like when we go back to like the Moorgate area, we're in London, and there are these meetup groups that you go, and like I wonder, is it gonna be like, do we shake hands, or are people gonna be paranoid shaking hands? Like, do we give business cards, or people are paranoid of business cards? Like, I've
Mm,
been trying to think, like how is it gonna be?
okay.
Like, I think and
Yeah,
it's the first time.
it's a
Yeah,
very interesting question. I think it's it's probably and yeah, I think it's probably an individual thing. I mean, for me, I don't mind doing it as we used to. Shaking hands, doing it or not doing it. Okay, that's a little thing. I mean, I just want to get back together. Let's say have conversations. Um, I mean, from my side, I know. I mean, what would stop us to do that? I think a lot of what happened was a bit of exaggeration. Also, let's say there was a lot of the media played into this a lot, and the only thing we saw for the last year and a half or whatever it was here now was only this crisis, which doesn't help anyone. And then just imagine if you hadn't watched the news, then you'll still be living in the same world as others, and but you would probably have had a bit more of a peace of mind. So what I'm saying is, yeah, it's all, I think, an individual choice how you want to do things. And yeah, just do the best you can yourself. And yeah, it would be great to get back together in that way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the reason one of the reasons I invited you is so obviously you're the first person who got me on your channel as well. So I got a new office in Oxford Circus, and it's actually on their website, and it's a small little private office, but the price because no one's taking these office spaces. It was too good to pass. So I took it. They signed me. I actually, I mean, let's see how it works. I mean, I looked at their online reviews, and online reviews are terrible when it comes to dealing with spaces and customer support. Terrible. I saw like, like 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. I was like, oh God.
Hmm.
But I'm I'm only prepaying. I don't have like one of these large offices. The deposit's not too bad. But I really have, I really am trying to like, invest in this kit. So I'm gonna try and do like once a week. But no, I really wanted to thank you to getting me into this whole, podcasting and the tech. Now, on the last note, before we wrap up, I just wanted to say that we're both in lead generation, and this is why I wanted like my audience to kind of hear from you as well, not just because you're the first, but I have focused a lot with companies that do outreach, and outreach is only as good as having a platform that does really down lead capturing. And it took me a long time to understand about like that people that again, like I made mistakes, but I spent like a lot of money on my early days of trying to like bring a lot of audience, but these websites had no good collection forms. I would love it if you just explain to people and my audience about why capture forms is so important. And then your platform is one of the only platforms right now that has the ability to stay on one form and funnel people. So you could say like, hey, like on Horizon, for example, we use, it's like, hey, you're looking for, would you want to join the newsletter for remote jobs or local jobs? And then if you hit the remote jobs, it takes you directly to the email. But if you're saying I want local jobs in cities, it'll say, yeah, cool. What state are you in? Washington. Okay, what city in Washington? And I really would love it if you explain to people this form, because I think you really have something unique here.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So just let's think about it this way. Whatever business you are, what keeps you alive as a business is your customers. If there's no customer base, you have no business, and it applies to any business, literally anything out there. So how do you attract customers? Through bringing people in the door. And let's say, speaking about the traditional world, let's say retail, you bring people in, you engage with them, and then you sell to them. Online is no different. You have to attract people and you have to bring them into the door, and you do that using different types of tools, I would say. So and the best way still to do that is through lead forms, through having a custom user journey, to have a form where people can, let's say, go through, and where they can say, oh, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in that, that's my service need, that's my availability, whatever. You can build a custom form to then bring people in. That's literally the best way in the B2B world to bring users in. Now, the problem is forms maybe have a bad reputation because most people are using very basic forms. The most basic things you can think of, let's say, what's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? And then possibly even redundant questions, or just, the most basic things are not nicely, presented. And the way to change that is to just think of it as a more natural conversational form. So if we were now having a sales conversation, and I would be the salesperson, it would be probably very awkward if I start the conversation saying, what's your name? No, that might be fine. But then straight away, next thing, what's your email? What's your phone number? It's very much intrusive to do that. So, and the way we solve that is with really having the ability to build custom forms with images, with different files, different text, different information, and you ask the right question at the right time. We also have a lot of educational content on our blog, which is leadgenapp.io/blog, where we describe like how you can build forms that convert better. So yeah, that's really where we help companies with. And again, it applies to any business, particularly B2B companies, across the board. Whatever, like office spaces need leads, mortgage brokers need leads, financial advisors, and it goes on and on. So yeah, that's what we do.
That's fantastic. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to put up a link down on the YouTube channel, and it's definitely something that I'll cover in my series going forward. Now, yeah, like I said, these podcasts are just to have light conversation with founders, to share some stories. This is my first one, so I have nothing prepped. I mean, I literally got here 5 minutes before, and all I knew was the how to introduce you. So, but hey, Chris, thank you so much for being on my show. Thanks for being my first guest. Thanks for even getting me into the
Yeah,
interviewing of other founders. And I look forward to connecting with you when I'm back in London. We by end of April, I'm definitely back. So yeah.
great. Yeah. Thanks so much, and glad that you're doing this format now. Can encourage everyone to follow because it's going to be fun. And
Anyway, brother, hey, yeah, listen, thank you so much, man, and I'll see you soon.
yeah, take care.
Take care.